Ulysses S. Grant led Union armies to victory, became president, died of throat cancer 1885. William T. Sherman marched through Georgia, captured Atlanta, died of pneumonia in New York 1891. George G. Meade won Gettysburg, commanded the Army of the Potomac, died of pneumonia 1872. George B. McClellan built the Union Army, ran for president, died suddenly of a heart attack. Philip H. Sheridan led Union cavalry to key victories, later died of heart failure in 1888. Winfield Scott Hancock defended Cemetery Ridge at Gettysburg, died of complications from diabetes 1886. George H. Thomas earned fame as the Rock of Chickamauga, died of a stroke in 1870. Joseph Hooker commanded the Army of the Potomac, lost at Chancellorsville, died after a stroke 1879. Ambrose E. Burnside failed at Fredericksburg, later served in Congress, died of heart disease 1881. Henry W. Halleck served as Chief of Staff advising Lincoln, died of liver disease 1872. John Pope lost disastrously at Second Bull Run, later died of a stroke in 1892. Don Carlos Buell commanded slowly in the West, was relieved of command, died naturally 1898. Nathaniel P. Banks, a politician general, suffered repeated defeats, died in declining health 1894. Benjamin F. Butler occupied New Orleans harshly, later served in Congress, died of heart failure 1893. Oliver O. Howard led the 11th Corps, founded Howard University, died of natural causes 1909. John M. Schofield defeated Hood in Tennessee, later served as Secretary of War, died naturally 1906. James B. McPherson commanded the Army of the Tennessee, killed in action outside Atlanta, 1864. John A. Logan, a political general, fought fiercely at Atlanta, died of rheumatism, 1886. David Hunter freed slaves early and controversially, later died of natural causes, 1886. Franz Sigel rallied German-American volunteers to the Union cause, died naturally in New York, 1902. Carl Schurz, a revolutionary immigrant general, later became a senator, died of pneumonia, 1906. John C. Fremont defied Lincoln on emancipation, ran for president, died of peritonitis, 1890. Gouverneur K. Warren saved Little Round Top at Gettysburg, died of diabetes in 1882. Joshua L. Chamberlain holed Little Round Top with a bayonet charge, died from war wounds 1914. John F. Reynolds chose the ground at Gettysburg, killed instantly by a sniper's bullet, 1863. Abner Doubleday took command after Reynolds fell at Gettysburg, died of heart disease, 1893. Daniel Edgar Sickles lost his leg at Gettysburg, later died of a cerebral hemorrhage, 1914. George Sykes commanded regulars at Gettysburg, later died of facial cancer in Texas, 1880. John Sedgwick, beloved by his men, was killed by a sniper at Spotsylvania, 1864. Horatio Gouverneur Wright took command after Sedgwick fell, later died naturally in Washington, 1999. Alfred Pleasonton commanded cavalry at Brandy Station, later died of natural causes, 1897. David McMurtry Gregg blocked Stuart's cavalry at Gettysburg, later died naturally in Pennsylvania, 1916. Judson Kilpatrick led daring cavalry raids, later died of kidney disease in Chile, 1881. George Armstrong Custer led daring cavalry charges, was later killed at Little Bighorn, 1876. Wesley Merritt rose through Sheridan's cavalry ranks, commanded troops abroad, later died naturally, 1910. James H. Wilson led cavalry that ended the war in Georgia, died naturally 1925. Edward O.C. Ord helped trap Lee's army near Appomattox, died of yellow fever 1883. William B. Franklin commanded troops but was blamed for Fredericksburg's failure, later died naturally 1903. William S. Rosecrans won Tullahoma but collapsed disastrously at Chickamauga, later died naturally 1898. Alexander McDowell McCook commanded a corps at Chickamauga, later died of a stroke 1903. Thomas L. Crittenden commanded a corps split by a divided family, died naturally 1893. Jefferson Columbus Davis killed his own superior officer, later died of pneumonia 1879. Grenville Mellon Dodge built railroads after the war, later died of cancer 1916. Francis C. Barlow was wounded and captured at Gettysburg's Barlow Knoll, died of pneumonia 1896. John A. Rawlins served as Grant's trusted chief of staff, died of tuberculosis 1869. Winfield Scott commanded the entire U.S. Army early in the war, died naturally 1866. Samuel Ryan Curtis won at Pea Ridge, later collapsed suddenly and died 1866. Philip St. George Cooke pioneered Union cavalry tactics, died naturally 1895. Andrew Atkinson Humphreys commanded artillery and infantry with great tactical skill, later died naturally 1883. John Gibbon stood firm against Pickett's charge at Gettysburg, later died of pneumonia 1896. Romaine Beck Ayres held the line at Five Forks, died on active duty 1888. Charles Griffin fought across many major battles, died of yellow fever commanding Texas 1867. Emory Upton pioneered bold new infantry assault tactics, later died by suicide 1881. Jacob Dulson commanded troops in the West, later died of heart failure 1900. Orlando Bolivar Wilcox led repeated charges at Bull Run, died of bronchitis in 1907. John Buford chose the ground at Gettysburg, died of typhoid fever days later, 1863. David Sloan Stanley rallied his troops bravely at Franklin, died of kidney failure, 1902. Edward Richard Sprigg Canby was murdered under a flag of truce by the Modoc, 1873. Lew Wallace fought at Shiloh, later wrote the novel Ben-Hur, died of stomach cancer, 1905. John Adams Dix issued the famous "Shoot Him" flag order, later died naturally, 1879. Quincy Adams Gilmore pioneered rifled artillery against coastal forts, died of illness, 1888. John Newton served as a capable Union Corps commander, later died naturally, 1995. George Crook fought at Antietam, later became an Indian fighter, died of a heart attack, 1890. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. History Chronicles has many more fascinating stories waiting for you. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next incredible journey into history.